Yo, John McLeodon is in the house. So check this out. I was going to Max to watch another episode of The Penguin, and I kept getting, this thing, new episode, shows for you, whatever, and it's Florida Man. I kept seeing it, on here for the last week or, I don't know, last week or so, and I didn't pay it any mind, and I was just bored, and I just happened to click on it, and I only watched like the first 30 seconds, and it was like, yo, what am I watching right now? But it was crazy. So after 30 seconds, I cut it off, and I was like, all right, let me come in here, and I got to record this reaction. And this is either going to be a hit or miss. Either I'm going to watch this and be like, wow, I just came up across something, or it's going to be like, all right, this is some goofy stuff that I'm not going to watch again. But nonetheless, let's get it. HBO Max is it's Florida, man. Let's see what this is about.
What you're about to see may be dangerous, illegal, unethical, petty, misguided, immoral, and most
Now that sounds like
stupid. But it's also
Jimmy
all
James.
True.
I know his real name.
Sort of.
Now I see him, and I know he's a comedian. So like I said, I'm watching this part like, what is this?
I'm gripping the knife. I've never been more in the zone. I lift my hand up. 1, 2. I see dollar signs in my eyes. 3. I wasn't even thinking. Like, that really wasn't me. I guess like a murderer in that point, or a butcher. I was just, this toe needs to come off. I need to eat it. I need my $4,000.
Okay. At this point is when I stopped it, and I was like, okay, this is real. Like, this is a reenactment show? Okay, I gotta record this.
Miss Phillip, I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, and I'm currently a cast member at Walt Disney World. This story begins to take its shape in the summer of 2019. Me and my friends were huge Face Nectar fans. We formed this like traveling circus of Face Nectar fans. We worshipped him. It didn't really matter where the show was.
I suck toes.
Be there. Face Nectar was gonna be playing a 3-day concert in Colorado. I was like, I gotta go, but I was hurting for cash. And so that's when I kind of switched into the mode of, I need money now. Whenever I need to get money quickly, I hop on America's Best website. Craigslist has not failed me. So I made a post just saying,
I need money, willing to do anything. No, I'm sorry.
sorry, I don't wanna do that.
I don't want to anything.
But then Steve messaged me. It was pretty intriguing.
What? No, it's not.
I'm your guy, what's your fantasy?
A dude?
This is Steve.
He was very blunt and to the point. He says, I want you to cut off 3 of my toes, cook them,
Eat them. Now I want to watch.
in that moment, I was just like, I really wish it was sexual.
It'll be a blast.
But my brain just was not computing the idea that someone wanted his toes cut off.
I don't know if I can continue this. This is taking an even weirder turn than I could have imagined.
I was like, you know what? How bad could it be?
How bad?
Anybody that knows me knows that I am a super diehard hip hop fan. There's no concert in the world.
All right, I'm in.
I cut some toes, I eat them, I go see Bass Nectar, everything's good.
Yeah.
Once we agreed that we were gonna do it, do you have a friend that you could bring with you to make me feel more comfortable? And I prefer if it was a female.
Can you bring a friend?
Who is down to witness cannibalism?
Exactly.
I don't tell this story to anyone.
I guess you got the other ticket.
We had been friends since our sophomore year in high school.
I had nothing to do for 2 years of my life. I was in a boot due to an Achilles rupture injury that I had while dancing for Orlando Magic. Phil reaches out to me. It was from left field.
You're not going to believe I'm getting ready to tell you.
He then lets me know that, look, someone has asked me to do something very bizarre.
You can see she's visibly like,
Are you
distraught.
crazy?
She's like, what?
I think that because of our relationship previously, we just always established that nothing was off the table. So I was really worried on like a legal level. Worst case scenario in my mind is that this goes horribly wrong. And then we get questioned by the cops or otherwise.
We're here to cut Steve's toes off and eat them.
We're high school friends.
She was like, are you actually gonna do this? And I was like, I think I have to.
I was honestly, in a weird way, honored more than anything that he had reached out to me for this odd job, so to speak.
On the drive over, it's like I'm on a drug.
It's an idea.
Wait a second.
The drug is the idea of being in Colorado.
I'm sorry. As goofy as this story is, and this shouldn't matter, and I'm sorry I'm saying this, but never mind. Yeah, if y'all.
So when we get there to Steve's house, we see that there's only one way in and really one way out. We're walking in with zero understanding. We haven't even seen a picture of Steve at that point.
You know, this is kind of stuff your
Could be an
parents
axe
say
murderer.
don't do. Don't talk to strangers on the internet. That was textbook stranger danger. I was just breaking all the rules.
I think I imagine Steve being like a recluse and like a hoarder, like in his mother's basement or something. Like
Maybe he just likes feet and he wants like a feet act done.
You're gonna look normal.
It's
Hi,
He's very friendly, middle-aged guy.
I'm a very friendly middle-aged guy. Come on in.
Nice crib.
Welcome. Make yourself at home.
he was so normal.
He's so normal.
I am so normal. Thank you for mentioning that.
That's
He
not.
offered me a beer, which I accepted. Just a really weird setting to like do cannibalism. And that's when I see his setup. He has like a sterile pad on the ground, a cutting board, large knife, which I thought was a bit weird. It wasn't like a medical grade knife.
We could really do some damage here, and we are in no way medical professionals.
I was starting to get like a bit nervous, but then I remembered why I was here. He showed us a contract for $2,000.
Is this illegal?
I don't even eat chicken. I'm about to eat a guy's toe. So I bumped it up to $4,000. And he agreed. He told
Why?
me which toes he exactly wanted cut off.
Why?
I had Carolyn draw out where on the toes I needed to cut to get like a clean chop.
We've established, hey, there's no artery here, like we're gonna be okay.
We established I was gonna go 1, 2, 3, knife onto foot, the cut is happening. We also established a safe word, which was gonna be Connecticut. I can feel the excitement of knowing that I'm gonna have the money to see Bass Nectar building in my body.
He was sweating, he was a nervous wreck.
All right.
The NBA playoffs are in the background.
This is what it all comes down to, folks. A moment of truth.
He gives me a thumbs up.
That wasn't the NBA, but I'm not mad.
I'm laser focused. I'm like talking to myself in my mind, kind of like, you know, the angel and the devil.
For a
And
concert.
so I was like, I'm riding with the devil tonight. I lift my hand up.
can do this.
I'm like, what's wrong? What's the issue? Now he's not sure how he's gonna be able to teach karate without his toes. I reiterated to him that this is your dream. This is what you want.
We were trying to convince Steve more than anything to go through with it. He couldn't really take looking at the situation while it was happening.
How about just give me the money and not go through with it?
Let's try again.
Give me a toe.
I just realized who he was.
Yeah, it's me, Stevie. Stevie Janowski. We went to high school together.
Connecticut, Connecticut.
Come on.
Sorry.
The turn on is when stays in the fantasy. Once the idea of becoming real, they just get repulsed by it. Like, they just get like, not about them.
Round 3. I think there's a little bit of anger in my hand with the knife now.
Oh, you're sick.
I'm like, I see dollar signs in my eyes, and the man who dragged me out here is getting in the way. This toe needs to come off. I need to eat it. I need my $4,000. We've come so close. 2,
Please, Connecticut.
3.
Connecticut.
Please, thank you.
I can't.
He goes, no, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just can't. I just don't think I'm ready yet. I come to a stop.
Okay, you gonna give me some dough.
We just finished our beers and watched the last little clip of the playoffs.
Nail biter here tonight. What a great game.
And kind of seemed like a bad first date. I mean, it was just really awkward and hard to pull away from.
And then he surprised me saying that I was going to be paid simply for showing up.
Exactly.
He sends me the money.
Thank you.
Well,
All right. And Carolyn and I go about our way.
Thank you.
We get into the car and we kind of just sit in silence for a while. I looked at her and I was like, what do you want to do now? And she was like, oh, do you want to go grab a drink? And I'm like, that seems like the only decent thing we can do right now.
I think that we did everything we could to possibly just push it to the back of our minds.
So the bar was closing. I was like, I don't think I really want to go home.
I don't think I want to go home.
So we go back to her house. I believe we had a bottle of wine.
We just kind of like cuddled.
This new form of bond now existed between me and Carolyn where I was like, I think I love this girl. I've always found her to be attractive. This really brought us together. It's like 2 peas in a pod.
Phil has one of the best personalities that I've ever met.
I got one of the most important people back in my life. So everything's good. I got money. I flew to Colorado. As we were headed to the venue, we see that the show has been canceled. So my heart dropped. I was so furious. I almost ate a toe. I had a very traumatic experience to get to this point. I really started to kind of change my perspective and what's really important.
I would not do this today. I'd like to think I wouldn't.
He could have died, could have bled out. Now I'm charged with maybe like a manslaughter because I wanted to go to a concert. Who was I and what was going on in my head? I don't think now I would ever do it. But there are moments where I will post on Craigslist and I'll get a message saying, hey, do you think you can help me with my biggest fantasy? And I just know based on the wording that it's Steve. Hey Steve, do you remember me? He goes, oh yeah. Hey, how's it going? Are you willing to give it another try? I'm like, sorry Steve, I can't go back. I can't do this again. Random question. What if one day I'm like trying to get a job?
You're only thinking about this now?
You didn't even do it.
That makes sense. That Danny McBride's an executive producer. That was just goofy. So I'm not really sure what I just watched. That was kind of disturbing. It makes sense. That Danny McBride's an executive producer. That's my boy. But yeah, that's oh yeah, that's something I can see Danny doing. I'm gonna give it one more. If it's like this, I'm done. I might not even finish it. One more.
So I ventured into the woods, and I come across this lake. The water looked inviting. So I was swimming on my back. There's 3 stars triangulating. And I said, that looks an awful lot like a gator. It's the first time I realized there might be alligators in the lake. I got scared. I look over, sure enough. You never wake, you can never dream. But if you die, you're never gonna have a nightmare. You've gotta live that nightmare to get through it, to have a dream. If any of that at all makes sense to anybody, you're twice as crazy as I am. I get to maybe be on TV. If not, I get to at least act like it. Look at these guys. We're filming each other. Man, I'll shut mine down. That's just something for the family right there. I've been out here since I lost my arm.
Don't blame you.
My name's Eric Murda. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Moved down to Florida probably when 5, 6 years old. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'll stab you with the sharpest tool. Let's put the facts out there. I was not doing well. Just lost my girl. Just didn't care anymore. Sick of everything, sick of life in itself. Ended up driving south on 675 in my 2002 Econoline. I didn't know what to do with myself. I'd never been alone before.
Eric, you know, he felt like he never had enough. It became a search for fulfillment.
Trying to do something different. I'm trying to find myself again. Turned in, drove down here to the boat ramp. There's a dumpster down there. Oh. So I started throwing my garbage into the dumpster, and I seen garbage laying around the dumpster. I seen it lined up along the fence line. Like, this is where people hang out. So I started picking that up. I was on a mission to try to help clean up the world.
We were down here on a Sunday throwing horseshoes. Saw a strange fella just kind of walking around, picking up little bits of trash.
I was trying to make piles of garbage throughout the woods because it's all through back there's garbage, man. And I noticed there was a fence. Something was strange about this fence. That fence represented a border that I wanted to break. The real freedom was out there, man. That's where your freedom is. That's your freaking America, out there. That fence was me crossing the line. Boy, am I good at crossing the line. It's kind of what I do.
He kind of meandered off and walked over to the woods over there, and he crawled over the fence, crawled under the fence, and then crawled back over the fence. And then off in the woods he went. And we never saw him again.
The swamp feels like it just kept calling me. I wanted to make the swamp my base.
How'd that work?
Been out here a couple of hours already. Do I go back? Do I go forward? I didn't really know, man. Nighttime comes. And now I come across this lake. I'm cut from head to toe. And I'm just thinking, the water looked inviting. I'm a Florida man. I can swim. And I've got my boots in my hand, heavy, wet. I'm trying to swim with them in one arm. And the boots are drowning me. So these boots go to the bottom of the lake along with the pants. And I dove down to see how deep it was. This is the first time I realized there might be alligators in the lake, which is pretty stupid for a Florida man.
There's a lot of gators out there at Lake Manatee. Can I take a picture of y'all?
Oh, yeah, sure.
My name is Justin Matthews. I'm the founder of Matthews Wildlife Rescue. When you're looking at any wild animal, you don't want to interact with them.
I was swimming on my back, looking up at the stars, just as if I was at the beach, man.
But you're not.
I look over, sure enough.
You're not, dude.
The alligator's like 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet away from me. I'm looking dead in this thing's eye. And I went to freestyle swim. Before my right arm even touched the water down, that alligator had a hold of my forearm. And I got my arm over his wrist.
Later, when he grabbed his arm, I'm sure you heard a crunch.
My arm bent backwards. I just kick as hard as I possibly can, push this thing up out the water. It takes me down, push it out again.
And then he just ripped it off.
And the gator took off wagging its tail, big old bone in his mouth, and a smile on his face, just like a little chihuahua.
You want me to get my gator? If you got your arm bit off by an alligator, you're probably going to bleed to death.
Adrenaline is, it's an amazing thing. It makes you do superhuman things.
Police have no clue how I'm not already dead. Finally found some solid land, trying to sleep, sleeping on and off. I'm getting eaten up by ants. One arm. This alligator's stalking me like it's a lion or something, right?
Come on.
Hey, Mom.
I do believe, spiritually, my mother came down and took my arm to save my life.
I took your arm to save your life.
At the end of the day, my arm had to be taken to save my life. And who better to do it than my own mother?
I do not believe that a human go inside an animal and then you're that animal.
They like to argue with me and say, it was not your mom, this was a terrible tragedy.
You may never know what happened out there.
So who
Been
found
missing
him?
my arm going on towards a day now. I'm done. It's not fun no more. They said the fun part's over. I'm trying to walk through the swamp. Things sticking and poking me. Paranoid out of my freaking mind. Finally came out of there into an orange grove. Found, I believe, 3 separate ATVs. I was trying to hotwire them to find a way out of there. I was ready to give up. You know, I'm legitimately looking for vultures at this point.
I don't see how you can live for 2.5 days not going into shock with your arm bit off. It's a miracle they found him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's lucky they didn't drag him down and drown him. You know, then they would have finished off the next day.
What's crazy is how vividly I remember all the stuff, you know? That's the kind of water I was dipping my hand in and trying to drink. I mean, could you imagine for 3 days laying there, taking your hand and just sipping water? Sometimes in straight mud.
What you gotta do.
Trying to filter it through. And then just drinking it. I mean, how bad you want to live?
Right? I'd have drank it.
I probably only moved 100 yards that 3rd day, I bet you. I'm gonna lay here and die.
This one's a little weird.
Wait. There's a beer bottle on the ground. Where did that come from? Dude, I can't be far from that fence. I seen civilization once again. I knew I was making it out. I knew I was right there. That beer bottle was hope, man.
I was leaving this parking lot, driving up this way. I heard somebody scream, "Help, help, help!" Hi, I'm Rick, and I was the one that found Eric with his arm taken off from an alligator. He was totally naked. He had swamp muck all over him.
I said, bro, an alligator got my arm.
Holy sh! Holy sh! Holy sh!
I said, you got any water, man? Got any water, man? No, don't call the ambulance. Don't call nobody. Give me some water. He calls the ambulance. I lay on the ground, man. I know my journey's over. I know what I just accomplished. I get it. I'm like, holy. I apologize for the language, but holy me twice.
The freakiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I hope I never see anything again
Right.
like this. I didn't sleep for a few nights after this. It was pretty traumatic. Standing here looking in the woods, I could still see Eric. I could see him naked, unfortunately. You know how you survived? Because the heat was brutal those days.
Man, I ain't made in the shade. Look at all those trees. Swimming when I wanted to. I mean, man, I was just living the tropical dream.
Whatever you want to call it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He looks uncomfortable.
Nightmare, brother. Yeah. No, man. Thank you. Thank you. Seriously.
You're welcome.
I'm part of this swamp. The swamp's part of me now. My arm's never leaving here. And it's in this lake somewhere. It's in those woods somewhere.
Scary?
I know it's gonna sound crazy, man, but I want to go again. I know that's crazy. I know that's absolutely fucking insane. I am so ready to run back there right now and just go get it one more time, man.
Get what?
I don't know, man. It's something that's just it's like calling me, man.
43-year-old Eric Murda says he was reborn on July 17th after losing his right arm. He says he now has a new calling in life.
I'm in the swamp is in me. I'm in the swamp is in me.
I'd like to be a motivational speaker just because.
He has been, in a weird way, a spiritual guide. It did enlighten him to the little things in life that he still had. He bounced off that and became, this different Eric, this new Eric.
If a piece of like me can come out something like that, I know you can.
All right, so that was 2 episodes. I don't really see me going further with this show. Like the first one, I could barely get through it. Like that was kind of sick. The second one, I mean, the dude he just made some bad decisions. I mean, I don't know, what was all was going on in his life. You know what I mean? But any substances there or whatever, what have you. He was just making some bad decisions. I could at least, kind of get where he was at. That first story, that was twisted, man. That was sick. I don't see myself really riding with this no more. I mean, maybe I'll do episode 3 and see where it goes, but I think it was called Mermaids or something. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I gave it a shot. You know what I mean? John Megalodon. Like and subscribe. If I could get it out. Subscribe. And comment too. That helps too. Peace.